Today's video is going to be about before you hire your first employee. My name's Hopfe, and I'm a human resources consultant. Most business owners are expert in their field. They know how to do the job, the thing that your business is based on. Experts. They can do that in their sleep. But as soon as you think, let's expand the business, they may not be experts in HR or management. Suddenly adding more people to your organization, it's a whole nother ball game. All I can say is consult with an HR expert before you hire. They're going to help you along the way and let you see what you really need, what you need to do. Yes, that's going to be a cost up front for you, but it may save you thousands down the road if you hire the wrong person, or you hire someone into a person that's not working out for you, right? You may find out later on that that's not the role you should have hired for. And that's costly. It's going to slow down your business growth, and it's going to cost you more money because you're going to have to go through the whole process again. Don't be afraid to spend that little bit of money up front for an HR expert. It might be a couple $100 to $1,000, depending on your needs. But that should be right in that window. Be prepared for that, because that's going to save you a lot more down the road. The HR expert is going to kind of walk you through, and what I'm going to talk about here today, things you need to think about. You need to define the role you want to hire for. Now, this seems like a no-brainer, but let's take some real time to think about this. You should list all the tasks that you want this person to be doing and try to be as detailed as possible with the tasks, just so your list is nice and full. Yes, this is going to take a little while, but it's going to help you. How long does it take you to do each task? You need to put that into that. If it takes you 5 minutes to do such and such task, write that down. Then you can kind of start building how extensive this role is, how much time this person is actually going to have to be working for you. Remember, as the person is learning, and even after they've learned and become good at that task, it may not be as fast as you do it. So expect them to take longer. This goes back to previous videos where I've mentioned that this is an employee. They don't care about your business. They're here for a job to make some money, right? So they're not going to have that passion to work as hard or as fast as you are. So just remember that. This will allow you to decide whether or not this is a part-time or full-time position. You may just need a couple hours a day. You might need 5 hours a week or 10 hours a week. You take that list that you've created and all these variables you've come up with, and you create the job description. An HR person can take all this info that you've created and create that job description for you. The main purpose for you hiring someone is to create revenue. You might be watching this and you're part of a nonprofit or some other organization that doesn't generate revenue that way. There are different ways for businesses to create revenue, but you still want to maximize your use of that revenue if you're not directly trying to make revenue. So I always think, how can this new person create revenue for my organization? They're either put right into some sort of sales role where they are directly creating revenue for you, getting the clients, getting the leads, making the sales, right? That's kind of the first place you want to look in a small business. How are they generating revenue for you? The second area you want to look at is how a new hire will allow you as the primary business owner to create more revenue. So when you think about that, this is an assistant role or someone picking up tasks that frees your calendar. All the things you're doing with your business right now that aren't revenue generating, this might be it. But now you yourself are now doubling down on creating the revenue, getting the clients, getting the leads, making the sales, right? So think about that. They might be a marketer, and now they're handling all your social media, and they're creating all the content that you're putting up that's leading into your sales funnel that generates a meeting for you. In my case, that's similar how it is. I make these videos like this because I'm hoping you're going to go into the description and follow some of my links. And this means you go into my sales funnel. Now, I've mentioned in previous roles, when you're hiring someone, the main reason they're there is to make money. Can you afford to pay well for this role? Thinking about minimum wage. Right? Legally, you have to pay minimum wage. That's obvious. Living wage. There's a different living wage in every town, every province, every state. It's the minimum amount of money a single person needs to provide for themselves. This is the living wage. If you're paying less than the local living wage, your employee isn't thriving. Your employee suddenly needs a second job, or they're living in substandard conditions, or they can't afford a vehicle, so they make them late to work. They're making them late to work for you. So think about that living wage. Now you also have industry standard wage, right? Do your research. What is everyone else paying for this type of role? Because if you want the best of the best, you pay more than the industry standard wage. And this helps you become an employer of choice. Pay grid. Make sure you set up a pay grid before you hire this person, because this is going to help you in negotiations, right? Every employee you try to hire has a right to negotiate what they get paid, what their compensation is, right? They have a right to do that. But if you have a pay grid that you've set up, it allows you to say, this is what I pay. If you want more than this, I'm sorry, I can't hire you. It allows you to put your foot down. And if you're looking at entry-level person, they're going to be lower on the pay grid. If you want a super experienced person, they're going to almost max out your pay grid. You've got to think about cost of living increases. This is going to happen every year. You should have some sort of yearly cost of living increases. Now, this is where the whole pay grid shifts that little bit. Could be anywhere from 2% to 5% higher every year. And that's something you need to be prepared for. We could say cost of living increases happen every January 1st. And that shifts the whole pay grid. Now, moving into summertime, that's a great place for you to create merit increases. Now, this is where, based on that employee's performance, yes, you need to have some sort of performance evaluation in place. And it's got to be simple, it's got to be regular, something that you can go by. You give them a merit increase sometime in the summer, June, July, something like that. That way, every employee gets one pay increase every year guaranteed, and the really good performers have the merit increases, so they get an increase twice a year. Think about the cost of hiring someone. Can this role be filled without extra expenses? Office space, equipment. If you make them fully remote and they're doing things task-based, you need to get this, and this done every day. Working from home means that you don't have to pay for this extra office space. There might be a little more expense up front because depending on your organization and what you do and how you want to run it, you might buy them equipment. You might say, we're issuing you a laptop with all our programs on it, so then you can work. Or you might say, we're going to give you, an extra $20 a paycheck, and you'll have to supply your own laptop, right? There's kind of there's options you can always do. And that brings me to another option. Can this role be filled with a contractor? Employees have these special rules, payroll obligations, and things like that you must follow. Contractors, depending on the role, might be simpler for you because a contractor might allow you to be flexible because it's slightly different. When you're hiring someone, you have the employee contract, you have all your rules and stipulations in there. But if you're hiring a contractor, there's also some sort of contract agreement, and it's basically what you want them to do and their rules on how to do it, right? It's a little more in depth because now they have a little more control and flexibility on what they do or what not, and they might just have some straight up packages, right? If you're hiring, say, a marketing agency, they might say, we're doing XYZ for so many dollars per month, and that's all you get out of that, right? If it's a single person sole proprietor working from their home, you might have a little more leverage. This is what I need you to do, right? And then they'll come back with their price. So it could be, the only convenience there is that you just pay the invoice each month and it's considered one of your business expenses. So it's pretty easy to put into your books. Whereas the employee, you got payroll taxes and all the other things. They might be wanting benefits down the road, and that's a bigger conversation. If you got this far, thank you very much. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any follow-up questions, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. So comment below. Thanks. Bye.